Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the New Canaan High School Gymnasium for the New Canaan Rams' last game of the regular season. And right now they face a very solid Ridgefield team who's 18-1. So they come in with lots of experience, and boy, do they have a talented roster. But New Canaan on the other side has a young, talented roster that's been developing all season, and they come into this game looking for a big win against a top team in the FCAC. And Ethan, what are some keys to the game for New Canaan to kind of slow down this Ridgefield offense?
Well, when we talked to Melzer earlier before we went live, he talked about how they need to make open shots. They were on a four-game travel. They were on a four-game travel, and they went 2-2 with wins against Ledyard and Bridgeport Central and losses against St. Joe's and Trumbull. Melzer keyed that they need to hit open shots and make their layups. They've been struggling to make those open shots, especially from deep, and the rebounds that they get offensively, they aren't able to finish those layups and those second chance opportunities. So that's a big thing if they want to keep up with this great Ridgefield team. Yeah, and that poor shooting of the basketball has kind of been a common theme this year. You look back at a game like Brian McMahon where they came out with the loss 44-37. You know, they could have won that game. They just did not convert up close to the cup with open layups, missing wide open layups, missing wide open shots. We've seen it time and time again this season, and they've shown that they have the defense to hold up against these top teams. They just can't score the points. And talk to me about how the Rams are against good teams versus bad teams. I mean, when you see the Rams go up against good teams, especially like ones against Ridgefield, they are so physical under the hoop. They get so many offensive rebounds, but the problem is they just can't finish the bucket. And we talked about how teams that they play against that are over 500, they're only 1-9. That is not a good record. That's not what you want to see. But when they're playing against people that are under 500, they're 7-2. I think it's going to be big that they get in the paint, get physical, get the boards, and finish layups.
Yeah, and this year you talk about it in that FCAC. Ridgefield has a perfect record, a 14-0 record in the FCAC, and that's where the difference is between these two teams. New Canaan's 4-10, and Ridgefield is 14-0, and those 14 games, you know, you're playing good teams, and New Canaan's been shown that they've held up with guys like Andrew Esposito, you know, Griffin Bramlett, obviously the senior captains, Griffin Bramlett, Fletcher Heron, and Teddy Whitaker. So they have the talent in that senior class, but they also have those juniors and those sophomores that contribute. And again, just looking into this game, do you have any final takeaways before they tip off tonight?
I think you just got to stay calm, cool, and collected, right? It's one of those common sayings, and I think when you have this Rams young team like they do, I think they got to be able to move the ball around like we talked about, make their shots, and communicate. I think a big time is going to be communication between the players. There's going to be a lot of switches, a lot of screens, a lot of off-ball movement. They got to be able to talk and sit down and just settle down and make sure that they're all focused.
Yeah, and Melzer talked to us before the game, and he said that whenever you're going up against a Ridgefield or Trumbull, a top team in the FCAC, they're going to be organized. They're going to have a solid offense that's cohesive together. You know, that team chemistry is always going to be there. And so when the Rams face that team tonight, they're going to have to also be organized, cool, calm, cool, collected. Any kind of words you use to mention, just settle things down and play their game. They're going to have to come out and stop Ridgefield early on, and I think that early momentum will help them take control of this game.
Yeah, and I think Ridgefield has talked about how they want to focus on their captains, Heron and Bramwood especially, so it's going to be important that these bench guys and these other guys that are on the court are be able to step up and make plays instead of them having to take the ball up all the time.
Yeah, you are right. We're going to get some starting lineups here. Ridgefield and New Canaan and the national anthem, and then we'll be back here and give us a couple minutes.
Ridgefield head coach Andrew McCollum. And now let's see tonight's starting lineup for the New Canaan Rams. Number 3, Teddy
Welcome back inside the New Canaan High School Gymnasium, and myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Ethan Bonner, and we're excited for the final game of the regular season for both of these teams. The New Canaan Rams hosting the Ridgefield Tigers, and we're in for a good one tonight. And one guy, too, kind of watch out. I know we'll mention his name a lot, is the forward who's 6'6", and the senior Nicholas Saganga. He's going to be a presence down low. Melzer also mentioned stopping him tonight and being strong down low in that post, and you can't let Ridgefield dominate down low.
Ridgefield's a very tall team. They got to take advantage of that and get in the paint here. Let's see how the Rams attack them.
You're going to have Saganga going up against Fletcher Heron for the tip-off.
Last regular game season. Here we go.
The ball is up. That one's won by Saganga, thrown back to Swachtowicz. Here's Ridgefield working up top, kicks it over to Walsh. The All-FCAC team player just a year ago, followed up with an impressive season this year. Shot, rebounded though by Walsh, puts it up and in, and that'll be an in-one opportunity early on.
You see there how they are just so perfected right there, right? Their movement just on point, and they were able to be physical inside of the paint there like we talked about. And we said how the Rams need to be physical and get those first boards. They didn't there, and now they have a chance to start the game down 3.
And if you're New Canaan, you know, you got to win that battle down low as Walsh hits that one. Ridgefield goes up 3-0 here early on in the game. But if you're New Canaan, you got to stand strong down low.
Full court press right away. Let's see how the Rams can attack them.
Here's Whitaker going to take it out from behind that half-court line. Working on his defender, that's Hickey. Hands it over to Bramlett. Bramlett guarded by Roman. Working to the corner to Fletch. Shot. And that one goes far off the backboard. Awkward angle. Here is Roman. Up to Walsh, almost stolen there by Robinson. Finds it down low to Swachtowicz. Up top, shot. Rebounded by Fletch, tries to get it to Robinson, and a careless turnover. They're going to call Saganga for a backcourt violation.
Just stepped behind that front line with his back foot. Costly turnover there for the Tigers.
But even there, though, New Canaan not looking strong. You know, you're throwing that pass up, and that's an easy turnover there.
Robinson didn't even see that ball coming. We talked about the communication, how important it's going to be. The Rams are not starting off hot.
Fletch, the athletic big man working on Saganga. Over to Esposito, works inside, up and in.
The youngest player on the floor for the Rams, Andrew Esposito. Great driving layup to get them on the board.
Robinson's guarding up Roman right here. Talk about it, he's their one guard. He's going to man the point tonight. But you also got Walsh, who can play that 1, 2, or 3 spot in the lineup. Walsh guarded by Fletch. Esposito working up top. Here is Hickey in the corner. Over to Swachtowicz. Swachtowicz inside. They're going to call a blocking foul. That one's going to be on Whitaker. Thought he took the charge. And Swachtowicz going to get a free throw attempt as he made that one as well.
Second and 1 opportunity in a row for the Tigers here. This time it's by Swachtowicz.
Swachtowicz at the line, and he hits it. 6-2 game, 6:15 remaining in this first quarter. Ball inbounded. Fletch going to take it up top, and maybe Fletch can dominate this matchup. We talk about how athletic he is. Goes right at Saganga, but he recovers. Mid-range shot by Robinson.
Great defense there by Saganga, being able to just hold his ground inside the paint, not letting Heron go.
Walsh works it inside, tries to go up for the layup.
He's going to stay with the Tigers.
Yeah, they're going to say he lost control, but that one went off of Bramlett. It's going to be Roman off the inbound. The pick gets it up to Roman up top. Good off-ball screen there. Over to the corner. And that's Swachtowicz with the shot, but rebounded by Saganga. Swachtowicz with the rebound. They're going to call that a jump ball, and that's going to be New Canaan possession as Ridgefield won the tip-off.
Great job by Esposito there. Just get his hands on the ball and force the jump ball to give New Canaan the ball back.
Yeah, early on here, though, you just see Ridgefield dominant down low. And Saganga's been able to lock up Fletch, which you don't really see often.
Esposito, though, has made back-to-back great plays for the Rams to get them in, to keep them in this game. Already down 6-2.
A little bit of confusion for what they were doing. Bramlett up top, and he hits. That's a good start for the night for the senior captain. Bramlett hits the 3.
There you go. Time's running down on your high school career. You want to end it with a bang. Good start there by Griffin Bramlett.
Here is Roman, going to hand it off to Walsh. Gets the pick from Saganga, up and in.
Saganga brick wall just laid out Esposito, and he couldn't get around it. Easy layup.
Walsh puts it up and in. What a start for the night for Ridgefield. Up by 3. The ref's going to call a timeout. He just said it was his timeout. Not entirely sure what it was for, but Saganga's going to come out and Nicholas Roman coming out. And we'll see who entered for Ridgefield. It was Benjamin Volmicki, as well as another Ridgefield player. Shot by Esposito in the corner. That one a little too much on it. Michael Smith, this junior, comes into the game for the Rams. Ball handed off to Swaktovitz. Back to that corner. Walsh working inside.
I just want to go back to the point how when Ridgefield subbed in, they subbed in a 6'6" forward and a 6'5" center. They have so many tall players, and I think they're going to try and take advantage of that today because the Rams, they do not have as many tall players as Ridgefield does, or even people above 6 foot, to be honest.
And with that height comes length as well. So although you talk about vertical height, as Swaktovitz takes the shot, that one deciding if it wanted to go in.
There it is.
Rebounded by Spakowski, and he puts that one up and in.
There it is. The sub who came in uses his height and gets the offensive board and finishes it. Blocking foul there by Hickey.
Yeah, that's going to be a blocking foul by Hickey. He didn't set his feet, although we thought he did. Fletch driving right there again and again early on in this game. In this first quarter, you've seen Fletch kind of man that point and then have everyone rotate around. Fletch works inside on Spaktovitz. Shot by Michael Smith. That one rolls in. Friendly bounce. Gets that one to go. Rams down by 3 here, 7-10.
A lot of the players that are on the varsity team for New Canaan just played in their JV game, so they're all warmed up and ready to go. As you see, Michael Smith hit the easy floater right there.
Here's Walsh driving on Smith. Gets right by him. Not sure what defense he was playing there, but an easy layup that you can't give up. Michael Smith tries to get the ball over to Robinson, but that's turned over to Swaktovitz. Ball up top to Walsh. Walsh trying to figure out what to do, tries to throw the pass. And 2 defenders get tangled up there. I believe that was Andrew Hickey and Griffin Bramlett. Bramlett's going to get called for the foul there.
That was Alistair Walsh and Griffin Bramlett. It got a little chippy there. Looked like Griffin Bramlett just tackled him to the ground. Little altercation there on that far corner.
Yeah, and that's Bramlett's second foul here, just 5 minutes in, excuse me. Ridgefield with another inbound from under the basket, stolen by Fletch. Gonna drive right on Swaktovitz, puts it up and in.
The Rams staying in this game, only down 3 with 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Good start.
Down by 3, 9-12. Ridgefield up top. Walsh driving in. Chandra was trying to take the charge there. And they're just going to let them play. They're not going to call anything on that.
I like how the Rams are putting their bodies on the line right there. They know how hard of a team Ridgefield is, and they are going to have to put their body on the line inside the paint to force turnovers and charges especially.
Walsh working on Robinson. Kicks it over to his teammate. That's Hickey.
It's a blocking foul there on Michael Smith.
Blocking foul on Smith. Too many fouls here early on for the Rams. We talk about it. The new rule implemented this year was once you get to 5 fouls, you get 2 guaranteed free throws in each quarter. Obviously, the free throws reset from quarter to quarter, but they're already at 4 fouls. 2:54 remaining in this first period.
And you don't want to lose the game on free throws. That's what all coaches say in basketball. And by getting these fouls and by adding them up, they're going to have to go to the line. They're going to lose points.
That was a bad turnover by Walsh. Esposito is going to run it. The 3-on-2 gets it over to Fletch. I believe that was blocked by Walsh, but gets his own rebound, puts it up. And that one can't find the bank.
That should have been a foul there on Heron.
Questionable call there, a little bit too physical. They don't call it. Not entirely sure how you don't call a foul there.
Looks like he just leaned into him there, as Ridgefield is going to go towards a smaller lineup here with Saganga being their tallest on the floor at 6'6".
Yeah, you'd think they're going to go out and try to shoot the ball. You know, that's been their bread and butter all season, is being able to shoot the rock at a high percentage, whether it's from behind the arc or inside the arc with those mid-range shots.
And we talked about before the game how the Rams need to hit their open shots. And so far, I think they've been doing a good job, only down 3 as
Fletch
Robinson.
finds Robinson on the back cut. Smart play there by Robinson without the ball. Decides to open up opportunities into Saganga. And that's just too easy. Give it to the 6'6" big man down low in high school ball, and usually you'll be able to get a bucket.
Good fast-paced transition there by Ridgefield to answer.
Yeah, no hesitation there as Esposito is going to work up top. Esposito to Robinson in the corner. He's going to drive. See him immediately double team, finds Challenger down low, puts it up, and gets fouled.
Andrew Esposito is so poised. I mean, look at him, just use his vision and just find Chandra underneath. Great pass.
And again, that comes off the back cut, as well as just being able to move the ball around and find the open man.
He's done everything so far this game. He's forced the jump ball there on the defensive end. He's hit a nice floater, and there he sets Chandra up at the line. Akavaramu is going to come in now for Luke Robinson.
There was the shot by Chandra. That one can't find the bottom of the net. Rams down by 3, 11-14, 1:50 remaining in this first quarter. Chandra with the second, can't find it again. That one just a little bit short. Ridgefield's going to run it in transition, but New Canaan's back to guard it. Ball in the corner. This is Smith. Over inside to Volnick. Back to Smith. Picks up by Volnick. Smith trying to find a shot. You can tell just waiting to pull up. Here is Roman. Good defensive hands there. Quick hands by the Rams. And they're going to call it jump ball. Great effort again on that defensive side of the ball.
Great physicality there by the Rams. Force the turnover. Oh, no, never mind. It's going to stay with Ridgefield, but good job. Only 6 seconds left on the shot clock here. They've got to go fast.
Ball's going to be inbounded by Roman. Guarded by Esposito. Back to Smith. Smith in the corner. Guarded by Smith. Smith squared. Shot two. That last second shot by Migliano.
Great defensive possession there by the Rams. Forced the shot on the shot clock, winding down.
Jay Migliano with the shot. Can't find anything, but then a turnover on the other end by Fletch.
Both those feet came up off the ground by Heron. Tigers are going to get the ball back. 1 minute to go.
Jake Soma's going to sub in. This time for Esposito. Chakarov's also going to sub in for Fletch. You see Danny Melzer really doing a great job of just using that entire lineup from those seniors to even those sophomores. You know, just rotating people in. He knows how important this game is. And obviously, what's at stake here? The Rams are already qualified for the state playoff. They can't qualify for the FCAC, so that's out of the question. Shot by Walsh. Can't find anyone. Good defensive rebounding there by Smith. But that one by Chandra, excuse me. But then on the other side, if Ridgefield loses this game, they drop to number 2, the 2 seed in the FCAC playoff ranking. But if they win, they maintain that 1 spot.
And that's crazy how they're 14-0, and if they lose, they go 14-1 and still not get the 1 seed. That's how competitive the FCAC is.
Akavarmu inside, great defense. And they're gonna call it travel, picked up the foot there. You mentioned Akavarmu looked promising at the beginning of the season until he suffered that injury and then was out for an extended amount of time. I know he missed the Darien game, which he was really frustrated with, but now he's back, ready to make an impact. Ridgefield makes a couple substitutions, and Svaktovitz is going to inbound the ball, but you know, he kind of looks like Richard Hamilton with that mask.
Masked players are always the best players, I feel like.
Makes them a little bit more intimidating as Walsh is working up top. Lots of screens set over to Svaktovic with the shot, mid-range shot.
That's not a good example of it right there, John.
And the shot by Saganga, that one can't find anywhere. That one way off. And that will close the first quarter. New Canaan only down by 3 against an 18-1 Ridgefield squad. Rams are down 11-14. Those fouls are going to reset, but talk to me about that first period, Ethan.
I think the Rams did a good job staying in the game, right? And we talked about before how they need to make their open shots and make their layups, which they've been struggling with over the course of the season. But in that first quarter, I saw so many made layups and so many made open shots. I mean, you saw that Bramwith 3. It went right down the middle of the hoop, swish, and it was great. And we saw now the Rams are only down 3 against a team that is 8-0 against teams under 500. So let's see if they can keep pace with them here and possibly take the lead.
Yeah, and you mentioned this entire season, we'll go back to it. It hasn't been that defense that's really struggled. It's been that offense, and you find themselves down by 3 against a really high-powered Ridgefield offense. Obviously, it's 11-14. And the amount of points that Ridgefield has averaged this season, they've beaten top teams in the state time and time again. Obviously, they lost to number 3 seed St. Bernard, but then they beat number 17 Staples, number 7 Notre Dame Catholic. They've beaten these top teams in the state. And they're only up by 3 against New Canaan. And that just goes to show how record doesn't mean everything in the FCAC. Although New Canaan's 8-11, you mentioned they qualified for states with that 8th win. But they're still up there.
And you talk about that FCAC placement, and you know how Ridgefield, if they lose, they're not going to be that 1 seed. And even if they're 14-1, they're still not going to be the 1 seed. And that is crazy to me, how just competitive the FCAC is. So they're not just going to come out here, play loosey-goosey, and let the Rams just roll over them. No, that's not what's going to happen. They are going to try and end with a 15-0 FCAC record.
Yeah, and the FCAC has been competitive for many years now, but New Canaan or Ridgefield last year lost in the second round to Staples, but prior to that, they'd won 5 out of 6. So 5 FCAC titles in 6 years prior to last year's loss. So you just mentioned that just goes to show how good this Ridgefield team has been in the past and is this year.
Ridgefield 24-3 last year and then 22-3 2 years ago.
Ball up top to Soma, over to Esposito. Esposito checking back into the game. Guarded by Walsh. Over to Fletch. And New Canaan's just got to shoot the ball if they get an open look here. Ridgefield recovering well. Shot by Chandra. Heavily guarded, but tipped by Chakarov. Back up to Esposito. Going to work inside. Tries to get it to Chakarov. We can't find anyone. Almost a turnover.
He's going to stay with the Rams there.
And they're going to call a push. That one on Volmicki. And Swatovic is going to check back into the game. And I can't mention it. It's hard not to mention that he looks like Richard Hamilton with that mask. Ball inbounded to Chakarov. Puts it in.
Ooh, he almost just took out Esposito there.
Chakarov and Esposito collide at midcourt. No one's injured.
Almost
Ball
a backcourt there by Roman. Got to be careful.
Good active hands there by Chandra to poke that one away. And that just goes to show the defense by New Canaan has been really good tonight, except for those first 2 and 1s that they had. Ridgefield had getting down low. Great defense pressured by Fletch.
They're forcing the ball out of bounds a lot, and it is saving them a lot of time on that shot clock there, and it's going to be a charging call.
Saganga gets inside. Jake Soma takes the charge, the senior.
Jake Soma, the senior experience. He knows what to do inside that paint, take the charge. The Rams could possibly take the lead here, only down 1.
Yeah, and these Rams aren't scared to take charges. They've shown that time and time again this year. Getting in front of players, and Melzer, Tisha, all these assistant coaches and Coach Danny Melzer stress that physicality and not being scared of anybody. As the ball's up to Esposito, guarded by Walsh. And Esposito having a breakout season this year. You mentioned he's being guarded by Ridgefield's #1 defender right now in Walsh, and Alistair Walsh, who's been talked about all season for how good he's been for this Ridgefield Tigers squad. But Esposito having a breakout season. Talked to Melzer before the game, talked about how good he's been on that rebounding side of the ball. You know, he was close to 15 rebounds in that Darien game, as well as when they played Bridgeport Central, had a breakout game as well. So just having this young sophomore talent, and Henry Chandra, who no one really expected to contribute the way he has this season, although he struggled with a couple of injuries, he's also been really good this year.
Melzer typically favors an upperclassman team, and I think more recently he's been able to develop some of these lowerclassmen, like you talked about, Esposito and Chandra, to players, to the players that they've become and how much they contribute to this team. And right now they're just showing all their contributions and how effective they can be on the court as the Rams get the ball back off a turnover.
Yeah, mental miscue there by Ridgefield. That one trying to get the ball to Swatek. Can't find him. And here's Fletch again, guarded by Saganga. Saganga right in Fletch's face. Jake Soma up top, wide open look, and I don't mind that shot when you're trying to get into a rhythm. It's a practice shot usually that they work on in practice. Ball to the corner. That one by Hickey, rebounded by Chandra. He's gonna push it.
Just can't get in the habit of missing all those wide open shots because eventually they will add up and they will come back to bite you.
Chandra up top, guarded by Roman. And here's Esposito working inside. That could have been called a travel as he slid a little bit. Esposito with a wide open shot. That one rims out. Back to Soma, another shot.
Chandra there just pushed Saganga to the deck.
I believe that was Nicholas Roman who went down, not Saganga. But that was on Chandra. And Michael Smith's gonna check in for Chandra. We got Teddy Whitaker checking in, as well as Tyler Ofiero, another guy who was injured for kind of that first half of the season, came back, and he knows how to play some ball. Ball gonna be brought up by Nicholas Roman over to Walsh. He's guarded by Ofiero. New Canaan's gonna switch everything. Swatek back to Walsh, keeps it in. Could have been a backcourt violation. Ball over to the corner. That one, 24 on 24. Hickey on Ofiero. And Hickey's gonna get the foul call.
Looks a little slow to get up there. Just walking that leg off there, that's Hickey. He's an important player to this Ridgefield lineup here.
Something's up with that leg. Grimacing in pain. You're gonna get Robinson, who's gonna check in after the first one. But Hickey at the strike. Rams are down by one, 13-14 right now. The first one banged home by Hickey. And New Canaan's already at 4 fouls in this second quarter. So any foul after this gonna result in 2 free throws. So just something to kind of watch out for now. And Whitaker's gonna inbound to Fletch Heron. Fletch Heron.
There you go.
Ball to Robinson. Robinson up top to Esposito. Thought about shooting it, decides to go inside. And can't find the bottom of the net. Ball over to Hickey. He's gonna push it downhill. Saganga is gonna get called for the travel.
I didn't really see the travel there, but I guess the Rams catch a break there and they get the ball back to possibly tie the game.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Saganga, he's gonna check out, as well as Alexander Hickey, who I believe is gonna get some medical attention as he's a little shaken up. Andrew Esposito gonna shifty with his handles and his pace of that ball. Ball poked away by Swatek. Almost looks like he's playing in the 1980s with that mask.
How many more comments are you gonna make about his mask, man?
And Robinson inbounds it to Esposito. Speaking of kind of accessories, the first 50 fans that came in tonight got a New Canaan Rams basketball headband.
Like that advertising there, John.
Ball thrown away by New Canaan. And Ridgefield's going to get possession as Tyler Ofiero tried to outrun that ball. Yeah, couldn't make it. Couldn't save it.
You talk about the accessories and the headbands, and yeah, you talked about how they were giving out the first 50 New Canaan fans free headbands. The team wanted the student section to show out today because of how big this game is. We have a lot of the girls basketball players here. We have a few of the other New Canaan fans.
Shot by Swatek in the corner. But yeah, you mentioned there's some big basketball games going on right now in that FCAC tournament. You have New Canaan, the 7th seed, upsetting Stanford, and then they upset
Trumbull. The first.
No, they upset Ridgefield.
They upset Ridgefield at
Stanford
Trumbull
in the first round, then upset Ridgefield yesterday to move on to the FCAC championship
for the
and
first
that's
time.
the first time ever, so we got to give credit to Coach Kim Palmer. You know, she's brought this squad to the FCAC Championship for the first time ever, and they're going to play tomorrow night at 7. So if you're available, go down to Trumbull and watch the game in person. Show your support as Luke Robinson hits the mid-range shot, and that's going to make it a 1-point difference.
Oof, wide open layup there.
Spakowski goes up with that one, wide open layup.
15-18, 3:45 to go. New Canaan's keeping this close. They've only scored 4 points this quarter, though. Can they capitalize on this possession?
Esposito over to Ofiero, who's in rhythm. They can't hit that one. Rebounded by Spakowski. Ball over to Smith. Back to Walsh, who's had his ball in his hand for most of the night. Tries to get it down to Spakowski. Almost turned over. Fletch guarding Spakowski. They bring the double.
Good steal
Ridgefield
there by
turns it over.
Robinson.
Robinson gonna work downhill. Get the foul, goes up. And they're gonna call a blocking foul.
You saw in that last Ridgefield possession, you see how they went to that same pass? I mean, New Canaan's catching on, right? And they want to be able to make different defensive schemes, and that was a good change there by Melzer quickly in between possessions to watch that pass again and force that turnover.
Yeah, and Jay Migliano is going to be called for the charge there.
Blocking foul.
Blocking foul, and Robinson's going to get 2 shots at the line as he misses the first one. And New Canaan's been putrid at the line this year. Most guys shooting around 40%. You're not going to get things done when you're shooting 40% at the line. And we've talked to the coaches, and there's no real explanation for why they're shooting so poorly. You can't really do much about it as Fletch tries to save it, and he does as he missed the second one there. Goes 0 for 2 at the strike. Bad turnover. Unfortunately, that ball was tipped up to Akavaramu, guarded by Walsh. Walsh, that on-ball defender, gets it back in, puts it in.
That ball was tipped out of his hands from behind. He got the ball back and got the easy layup.
That brings some similarities to that Lamar Jackson play in the playoffs where he threw the ball and got it back to himself.
Great comparison there. Something I want to bring up, though, is we haven't seen Griffin Bramwell enter this game in the second quarter. Interesting move here by Melzer. They're just switching up their lineups a lot. Ridgefield definitely not expecting that.
Yeah, and he hit that 3 early on in the game as Swaktovitz goes up and puts in the easy layup. Going to make it 22-17. But they go right back to Chandra, puts in the easy layup. Fletch finds Chandra. And Fletch is averaging about 7 assists per game this year. So he's been finding his open teammates. Shot in the corner. That one by Smith, can't hit it. And one thing to kind of just pay attention to, 2:02 remaining in this first quarter. And halftime's going to be a big break. It's going to be a big break in terms of adjustments, halftime adjustments for New Canaan and Ridgefield.
1 point game here with 1:54 to go. The Rams are staying in this game. Very big defensive battle here. They've only scored 8 points, but they're staying pace with them.
Ball will be inbounded by Esposito. You mentioned Bramwood not being on the floor, but Esposito has been out there for almost this entire first half. And Fletch is going to take it up over to Chandra.
We haven't seen much of Whitaker either this game, the other senior captain. The only captain we've really seen so far is Heron.
Chandra guarded by Saganga. Bad turnover by Ridgefield. Tries to throw it, almost hits the ref. And that one goes out of bounds. If you're Melzer, you got to be frustrated with that sequence of events. Just no real possession. And not good play as the Rams defense leaves Hickey wide open in the corner, but doesn't pick up on it.
A travel call there.
That's going to be Nicholas Roman, number 23, called for the travel. And New Canaan's down by 1, have an opportunity to take the lead with 1:38 remaining in this first half.
And we talked about earlier in this quarter how the team fouls were adding up. The Rams haven't committed a foul in the past 5 minutes, but for Ridgefield, they've committed 3. It's tied up 4-4. The next team to commit a foul, the other team's going to go to the line.
Up top to Fletch, misses it, but rebound by Akavaramu, swarmed and taken away by Walsh. Walsh running it in transition.
That's
over
a charge.
to Hickey.
There's another one.
There is another charge taken by the Rams. And great play.
Fletcher Heron, the senior captain there, putting his body on the line. his last regular season game of his high school career.
Yeah, and I think going into this game, New Canaan knew Ridgefield was going to be try to be physically dominant. And so if you take those charges, you kind of eliminate that physical factor.
Exactly.
Here's Esposito working down low, throws it away to Svaktovitz. They're going to have a 3-on-1. Fletch, only one down there, stops him. And I don't know how he made the stop. He made the defensive stop. New Canaan is going to run in transition. Here's Robinson, puts it up and in. New Canaan with
Takes
their
the lead.
first lead. 21-20, 50 seconds remaining. And this crowd not on their feet yet, but they will be. Svatek with another shot in the corner. Wide open shot goes through Fletch's legs, but turned over to Saganga. And if you're Fletch, you just got to know that that's a mental mistake there, fouling him. You just got to give Saganga the layup. Although you're taught to be competitive and be as physical as possible, you just have to leave that one. You can't do that. You know, seeing that guy come downhill.
We're going to see the freshman here, Blue Verton, make his game debut here for Akavaramu.
Yeah, New Canaan likes bringing out Blue Verton for those three-pointers. You know, he's a great shooter, probably one of the best shooters on this team. As a freshman, he's a freshman, Blue Verton.
I'm still surprised we haven't seen Bramwell on the floor yet.
Shot by Saganga. They put the 6'6" big man at the line, and he converts. Makes it a 2-point game. Rams down by 2, 21-23. Time winding down.
See, Heron running the floor. I mean, we saw in pregame warm-ups how he was knocking shots on both levels, both inside the three and outside. Let's see if he takes one outside here.
Blue Verton in that corner, just calling for the ball. That was Fletch going inside. Gets the foul called on Saganga, I believe. And that'll be a reach-in. And that'll be on Volmicki. My apologies, not Saganga. By Volmicki with the foul. That's going to be the 5th foul on Ridgefield. Both teams in the bonus. Fletch 2 shots at the line. An opportunity to tie up the game.
Oof.
Heron misses the first one.
They missed their past 3 free throws. If they made all of them, they would have been in the lead right now.
Yeah, and
these are critical.
Melzer takes out Blue Verton just one play after subbing him in.
He's an offensive weapon. That's what they try to use here.
Yeah, but he lacks that size on defense.
Exactly. They put in Jake Soma here to replace him. Let's see what he can do.
Here's going to be the one guard, Nicholas Roman, up top. Over to Walsh, going to drive on Soma. Walsh puts it up and in.
You have to go. You have to go. 4 seconds.
3, 2, 1. Robinson's going to shoot. Fire!
Oh.
And just off the front rim. That was an opportunity for the Rams. But again, you go back to that, you know, good shot, wide open. You get the look that you wanted. If you're New Canaan, it can't convert. That free throw line struggles carrying over from the season into this game. And we'll see you in a couple minutes. Myself, John Frieders, join alongside Ethan Bonner. And we'll go over to sponsors, and we'll see you at the beginning of the second half with our thoughts and our takeaways.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full-service practice that encompasses a range of commission, residential, and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile, you're in good hands. Platinum sponsor Frangio Engineering. Planning on putting a pool or addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangio Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist you with all of your automotive needs. Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community to their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams. Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and your entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We'd also like to thank our gold sponsor Performance Optimal Health, who proudly supports all New Canaan Rams athletes in their 2023-2024 seasons. Their team helps clients achieve their health goals through exercise, recovery, nutrition, and stress management. They offer their congratulations to all teams competing this season. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams!
Welcome back, everybody, inside the New Canaan High School Gymnasium. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Ethan Bonner. Right now, the Rams are down by 4, 21-25. We're just about to get started with the second half, but Ethan, talk to me about that first half. You know, New Canaan struggled at the line, and predominantly they're a first half team, so talk about going into the second half and what you want to see from both teams.
Yeah, you talked about the line. They are right now 2 for 8. That is 25% from the free throw line. And we talked about even before the game started how the Rams wanted to hit their layups and their open shots, which they've been doing really good at. But what have they struggled with? Free throws. It never seems like they have all three components synced together. And if they've hit more of those free throws, they could have been tied or possibly taken the lead over Ridgefield heading into the half.
Yeah, they have an opportunity here to lessen that margin. Obviously down by 4, so they're going to have to claw back into this game. And hopefully they play better in this second half than they have prior to the first and prior to the season. New Canaan coming in with a record of 8-11, and Ridgefield on the other end 18-1. And we're in for a good one here. Lots of fans coming to support this New Canaan team on the final game of the regular season as Ridgefield gets it down low right away. That's Svaktovitz with the easy layup.
We see Griffin Bramwell here take the floor again for the first time since that first quarter. He never checked in during that second quarter, but the Rams did well without him.
And that's going to be a travel on Fletch. But you mentioned Griffin Bramwell not playing for most of that first half. He got 2 fouls early on into that first quarter. He had 2 fouls within the first 4 minutes. And so now coming back, the fouls reset. Well, they don't reset, but both teams have 0 fouls. Bramwell still has 2, but they survived pretty well without them. As Walsh puts it up and in, and Melzer's going to call the timeout. Now you're down by 8, and you just gave up 2 easy buckets.
I mean, you see the movement and the passes. They are going so fast up and down the floor, and it's just catching the Rams defense off guard. They're already down 8. They're on a 4-0 run in 36 seconds. This is not good for the Rams.
Yeah, I think what's concerning about those 2 buckets is how easy they were. You know, they weren't mid-range shots. They weren't three-point shots that were contested. They were wide-open layups down low off maybe a quick off-ball screen or a back cut, and you find yourself wide open. New Canaan's got to tighten up on defense, and they can't give up easy buckets against this 18-1 Ridgefield team.
Most of the shots that the Tigers made in that first half, they were almost always contested. Those first 2 in that second half, they were not contested. They were easy drive-by layups, and that is going to cost the Rams big time.
Yeah, pretty awful defensive effort, and I'm sure Melzer and Coach Tisch are drilling it into the guys in that huddle. But they got to lock in if they can't let this game get a runaway, because good teams, once they get a pretty wide lead, they hold that lead, and it's tough to come back. So when you're down by 8, you got to start clawing back now, and then if you keep giving up easy buckets, you may not be able to come back later.
And you always talk about, and this all just connects back to the free throw line, right? Just let the free throws sink in, right? They're 2 for 8. If they made the other 6, they would only be down 2.
Yeah, that pass that was inbound, it was tipped by Hickey. Walsh guarding Esposito. Andrew Esposito, the sophomore, up top to Bramlett. Bramlett back to Esposito. And just look at this man defense being played by Ridgefield as Esposito gets inside to Smith. And that's going to be a charging foul, this one on Esposito.
It's Hickey there who got laid out there on the floor. They get a charge of their own as New Canaan had 2 of their own in that first half.
And here's Svaktovitz inbounding it over to Roman. Roman guarded by Michael Smith. Walsh up top. Down low to Saganga. Almost stolen. New Canaan rotating pretty nicely. That one taken away by the defense. There's some defensive effort. Bramlett over to Esposito. Here is Esposito inside to Smith. That one blocked. Melzer wants a foul. Here is Walsh up top, guarded by Michael Smith. Walsh crossing over inside to Saganga, stolen by Heron. Heron over to Smith, back up top to Robinson, gets the jump, mid-range shot.
Ooh, that one's got to fall there. The open shots that Melzer talked about before the game started, that's got to go in.
That one, easy layup, and then rebounded by Saganga.
The 6'6" height there from Saganga comes into play there, extends the Tigers' lead to double digits.
Here is Bramlett up top, guarded by Roman. Bramlett working on his defender. Cross-court pass to Esposito, back to Bramlett with the shot. Can't find the bottom of the net. Again, that one probably not wide open, but definitely had some breathing room. Here is Walsh. Over to Roman, back to Walsh. Walsh, risky pass, picked off by Esposito.
Good steal there by Esposito there. We talked about in that first half how he was playing phenomenal on both sides of the floor there as he gets a steal to start this second half.
Yeah, gets the steal and smart decision there. Or great defense by the Rams, but not a good decision if you're Walsh to make that cross-court pass. And those are the turnovers that you can't make. But you got a 10-point lead right now with Ridgefield. They're on a 6-0 scoring run, 31-21, 5:06 remaining, and that one's stolen by Swatix, and he misses the wide open layup.
The intimidation factor there by Henry Chandra just came charging in from behind. Forces the missed layup there as Bramlett catches a break when he turned it over.
Bramlett almost turns it over again. Guarded by Roman. Not a good screen set by Fletch. Chandra over to the corner to Robinson, wide open shot. And he's fouled. He's gonna get 3 shots at the line.
Here we go, this is important here. You cannot go 0 for 3 or 1 for 3. You have to hit at least 2 to get yourself back into this game.
Yeah, and that's just a costly error, getting in his landing zone there. Obviously, clearly a foul by Hickey, but you can't get in that landing zone. Robinson hits the first one after going 0 from 2, that first opportunity at the line.
That's a big free throw. You cut it into single digits now. Let's see if they can claw back.
Here's Robinson with the second one. That one rims out. Going to be 22-31 right now. New Canaan down by 9. Robinson at the line for the third of his 3 free throws. Robinson with the third one, and he hits nothing but net there, and Roman's going to take it up for the Tigers.
That's a clutch 2 free throws there by Robinson. Although he didn't get all 3, 2 is going to be sufficient as Esposito gets the block.
Esposito gets up there. Look at that vertical. Gets the block. Here's Fletch over to Bramlett.
Oh.
And that's going to be an over-the-back foul by Chandra. Gets a little bit too antsy, goes over.
You talk about Esposito's vert. In the fall, he was the football wide receiver. He's got insane hops as he's able to reach up and climb the ladder for the ball. As there, he shows it again, this time with a block.
Volmicki inbounding it to Roman. Roman going to take it up. But if you're Robinson, you're just letting him go towards the middle. It seems like this Rams defense is forcing him to the outsides, not allowing him to get inside, protecting that paint. Shot in the corner from Swakowitz, and he misses. Shot there, layup there by Robinson, assisted by Esposito, and there's a wide open layup to get the Rams within clawing distance, down by 6 now. Walsh in the corner, swarmed by Bramlett.
You can hear the noise factor coming in from that Rams side. They got the momentum.
The Tigers working around, New Canaan leaves Walsh open, doesn't convert, rebound by Robinson, working it up, guarded by 2 guys, gets around the defense and gets fouled.
He's going to the line for another 2. The Rams on a 4-0 run. The lead is only 6 for the Tigers as they are going to call a timeout here and to discuss things. 3:33 to go in this third period.
And Robinson has all 4 of the Rams' second half points right now. He had those 2 free throws where he went 2 for 3 at the strike, and then he had the easy layup. He's going to get 2 more at the strike here, 2 more shots. Hopefully he can convert. But the free throw shooting is going to get the Rams back into this game.
And if the Tigers didn't get those first 2 buckets to start this third quarter, this would be a very different game.
Yeah, and I think getting these free throws to just fall, to get those easy points, you're at the charity strike, and they call it the charity strike for a reason. You know, Ridgefield called a timeout. Both teams kind of settling things down. I think Ridgefield's a little bit frustrated with how carelessly they're holding the basketball. They turned it over a couple of times where they just shouldn't have. You saw the Walsh cross-court pass picked off by Esposito. and numerous other turnovers. And this Rams defense really impacting the game in the second half so far.
Esposito has played phenomenal tonight. I mean, we've seen it on both ends of the floor. I mean, he's been scoring and assisting. I mean, you saw the quarterback to wide receiver connection there from Esposito to Robinson underneath. And you see on the end, he forces a jump ball in the first half and then gets the block and the steal in the second half. What a start to this game for Esposito, and he hopes to continue that heading into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, triple threes on the clock right now. 3 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in this third period. Rams down by 6, 25-31. But Robinson at the strike, and the Rams have 2 fouls in the second quarter, or third quarter, and the Tigers have 3. Robinson hits the first out of his 2 that he's going to be given.
Ice in his veins. Robinson's got to knock this down to cut it to 4.
Yeah, you mentioned 5-point game now. Robinson at the line, and he hits the second one. Both shots, nothing but net. And we see a new substitution right now. Karlustis gonna come in for Svaktovitz, and I'm sure you're taking him out because he just hasn't hit those wide open 3-pointers. He's 0 of 4, 0 of 5 from beyond the line. With an opportunity, that was Karlustis. Karlustis got the shot. They're gonna call a reach-in foul. That one's gonna be on Chandra. It's Chandra's 3rd foul of the game. The Rams' 3rd foul of this third quarter.
Tough
Both
break.
teams.
Tough break there for Chandra. I mean, he had that height mismatch. There's nothing much you can really do beside, and you don't want to give him the and one, so it's smart to foul him before the shot goes up. Smart play there by Chandra.
Just schematically, I'm kind of surprised that Coach Andrew McClellan hasn't brought in both Saganga as well as Spakowski, both 2 big men down low. I don't think the Rams could defend that if they did, as that ball's turned over by Spakowski. Esposito working it inside, goes up, avoids the contact, and puts it in. A layup package there, a little bit of jelly on that one.
Great footwork there by Andrew Esposito to get into the lane and knock it down.
Cold response.
What a response to end the cold streak there. That was Walsh. And that ball is going to go flying over the head. That layup got a little bit too up in their heads. It's going to give the Tigers the ball back with 2:39 to go.
Yeah, Bramwood trying to feed the ball up to Esposito. No one home there. Bad turnover by the Rams, and Walsh comes out for a minute, as well as Spakowski.
Bremen really hasn't been on his game today. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen that early 3 in that first quarter, but besides that, he hasn't really made that good of plays. And I think the person that stepped up mainly for New Canaan has been Esposito and Luke Robinson.
Ball in the corner to Karlutsos. Shot, that one by Volmicki, and he misses. And Ridgefield just dominating the offensive rebounding category right now in the second half. Melzer frustrated.
See how frustrated he is. I think he wanted a pushing foul there. Luke Robinson just got shoved over the end line there. He couldn't even get back onto the court.
Ridgefield being a physically dominant team in this second half so far. And the only way to combat physicality is with physicality. The Rams got to rise to this physical level that Ridgefield wants to play at. And if the refs aren't calling anything, then you got to push a little bit back, right?
Exactly.
If you're being pushed, push a little bit back if the refs aren't going to call it.
You just got to watch those team fouls add up here. I mean, they're sitting comfortably at 3 apiece with 2 minutes to go, but see what happens.
New Canaan down by 5 right now, 29-34. Ridgefield on top, 2:14 remaining. Both teams have 3 fouls, so 2 more left before they get to the bonus.
Got a little discussion here on the court between Heron and the referee.
Heron and Saganga both talking with the ref right now. Down low, I believe they're talking about physicality.
I think they were waiting for Melzer to finish his discussion with the other ref. He wanted an explanation for why the foul was on Ridgefield.
Ball up top to Jay Migliano.
Good hands there by Heron just to swat it out of bounds. Let New Canaan reset with 31 on the shot clock.
Yeah, and those are the plays that aren't talked about on the stat sheet, but do make a difference during the game, is those quick hands tipping balls out of bounds. Ball over to the corner to Karlustis. Back down low to Saganga. Saganga going to be double teamed by Esposito and Heron. And there's a reach-in foul That makes it 4 on each.
I don't like that call there. I really don't. Esposito was just going there for the double team. I don't think he really laid his hands on them. But now he's going to be going to the line here as we take a look at this replay. You can see the ball being dished underneath, and Esposito tried to get him from behind. I think he really laid his arms on him. As you can see, the rest of the New Canaan teammates just disappointed with the call.
And that's the Rams' 5th foul in this third quarter. 5 fouls puts Saganga at the line for 2. Misses the first one, 34-29, Ridgefield on top. Saganga takes the second one and hits. Fletch is going to take it up. Never mind, that's going to be Bramlett, senior captain to senior captain. Bramlett guarded by Roman.
Got to get a bucket here for you, New Canaan. You want to end this cold streak now.
Fletch guarded by Saganga. Got a little space over to the corner. Robinson. Rebound by Esposito. Puts it up and in.
What a rebound there by Esposito, and be able to finish that in front of 3 Ridgefield defenders. What a play there. Esposito keeping the Rams within the scoring range here to end this third quarter. What a play.
Esposito with the physicality on the offensive glass. Puts it up and in. New Canaan down by 4, but already in the bonus. So anytime they foul, it will result in 2. But there was the replay of the shot by Esposito. The rebound and the shot. Great putback. And that's what the Rams are going to need if they want to get back into this game.
Now, I think heading out of this timeout with 1:36 to go, if you're the Rams, you do not want to foul again. I mean, you're already giving the Tigers the bonus, and if you foul again, they're going to go to the line for another free 2 shots. You don't want to make this deficit even bigger.
Yeah, and as this third quarter winds down, you know, the scoring's definitely slowed down a little bit, right? In the second half, both teams tightening up defensively. But New Canaan's still within striking distance, and Ridgefield, they keep on trying to pull away with the physicality, and they haven't been able to do that.
I mean, obviously, in halftime for both teams, they're obviously going to look for the defensive adjustments, and I think both teams have done a great job figuring out what the other team wants, and especially for Ridgefield, seeing how Griffin Bramlett was on the bench in that second quarter, they can see how the Rams want to run their offense just effectively without him, as he is their main ball handler, and I think they've done a great job being able to stop the Rams.
Slaktovitz over up top, over to Jay Miglano, back to the corner. That's going to be a reach-in foul by Michael Smith. Not sure that was intentional, but his hand was out there, and they're going to call it. That's going to give Ridgefield 2 shots at the line.
McClellan was heated there as his player got shoved to the ground there by Michael Smith, but then on that second call, he got the call. As Ofiero is going to check in here after this first free throw.
Swatowitz at the line for 2 shots, and he hits the first one. High free throw percentages are characteristics of good teams, right? And Ridgefield's been at the line, and they've converted at a high percentage this game so far, at a high clip. And talk to me, you know, getting back into this game, right? How do you want to close the quarter if you're the Rams?
I think offensively, I think you want to be able to swing the ball around, get Ridgefield off their feet, and get them on their toes, like trying to figure out where the ball is going to get to. I mean, obviously they're going to look at Esposito, but obviously you have their senior captains, Bramlett and Heron, on the floor to help them out. I think defensively, you just can't foul. You don't want to send them to the line for the number 2 for another 2 shots, because obviously they've been very good at sinking them and extending their lead with them.
Ofiero from the corner, and he hits maybe the needed spark that the Rams need. Maybe the much-needed spark that the Rams need. Only down by 3 right now.
Hold those 3 fingers out there, Ofiero. What a 3.
Yeah, now you just need a couple more of those. One doesn't do him justice. He needs a couple more. Ronan tries to get it to Saganga, tries to save it, but he stepped out of bounds. 1 possession game for the Rams right now. And if you're Ridgefield, you got to tighten up, and you got to play more structured. You got to play organized.
And you can just hear out the crowd noise how much they're getting back into it after that Ofiero 3 and this turnover here. Let's see what they can do with 40 to go left in this third quarter as Heron brings the ball up.
Here is Heron, guarded by Saganga. He's going to back up and then go back in over to Bramlett with the 3. And a little bit of contact there. They're not going to call it. And that's going to be a blocking foul on Fletch.
I'm surprised how fast they moved there. They could have had last possession there, but instead they're going to go to a line for the free 2. They're going to give the Rams the last possession here. Interesting play.
That's going to be Heron's 3rd. And New Canaan's going to have an opportunity for the last possession, as you mentioned, Ethan. But before that, we got Svaktovitz's 2 free throws.
And you can't see it on your screen right now, but Luke Robinson's about to check in here. They're going to bring all their offensive abilities out. And instead, actually, they're going to bring out Griffin Bramlett, who's been a little cold from 3. He's missed 2 the second half. They're going to give Luke Robinson an opportunity here.
Svaktovitz will have his second shot at the line, and he hits. But Svaktovitz has just been money at the charity strike right now, cashing in at the strike with the free points. Walsh is going to come out. Fierro's out there.
Heron is being smart here, holding the ball. Last possession, 13 seconds to go.
Yeah, and about 10 seconds left, maybe 8 seconds. I'd expect that you're going to run the play. Fletch doing it right now. Going to drive in, try to draw in defenders, open up the three-pointer.
Oh.
Bad turnover there, and that was the opportunity that the Rams wanted. Ridgefield with the last-second shot.
Oh, my goodness. I thought that was falling.
Carlustos with the final shot right at the free throw line.
And you saw there on that last possession there for New Canaan, that ball was going to the hands of Luke Robinson, who was subbed in there, and Ridgefield was ready for it as they had 2 defenders all over him.
Yeah, and Ethan, both teams in the huddle right now in between the third and fourth quarter. What are you telling your team if you're Coach Melzer? And then we'll move on to Coach McClellan, but let's start with Melzer.
I think for Coach Melzer, I think he's just trying to tell his team to settle down. I mean, right, you're not down 15-10. You're only down 5. And I think you guys just got to settle in, communicate, spread the ball around, and knock down the open shots, which has been the key to the game this entire time. And they've been doing an okay job so far, and the score shows it, only being down 5, 34-39. But for Ridgefield side, I think they just want to focus on maintaining that lead, finding the open passes, and hitting those open layups. I mean, a lot of the layups that they've hit, they've just been completely open. And I think if they can keep finding those gaps, spread the ball around, get New Canaan on their toes, they're going to be able to capitalize and keep this lead throughout this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and if you're Coach McClellan, what are you telling your team right now, right before you get into the fourth quarter of action?
I think you're telling them to maintain the ball, spread it around, and just find the open man. You want to give out these turnovers to New Canaan and let them move the ball up the court as fast as possible. And also, I think for both sides, just do not foul. Because I think at the end of the game for both teams, free throws are going to matter, especially in a close game like this. You do not want to give the other team the chance to get into the bonus and knock down free shots with the opportunity that they have.
And if you're Coach McClellan, you will play that back and forth free throw game at the line. Obviously, New Canaan's been shooting around 40% on the year, so you're more than happy to give them shots at the line.
And you can just tell by tonight, too, the Rams have not been doing as well on the free throw line as they wanted to, as Robinson gets the floater to go there to cut the lead to 3.
39-36, 7:40 remaining in this fourth quarter, just getting started. We got a lot of action. Saganga up top over to Walsh. Back to Walsh. Walsh in the corner, down low to Saganga. And Robinson's going to get called for the foul. You know, and that's just not being in the spot you're supposed to be at. Saganga slides under his defender, and once he gets right to the basket,
you always
wide open.
You always tell your players to play goal side, right? And Robinson was not goal side. Instead, he had to reach over the back, and that committed a foul early in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and coaches also always tell their players to stay within the basket and your attacker, right? The guy you're guarding, as long as you're in between. As Ridgefield gets the wide open shot in the corner. Good offensive rebounding. Fletch is going to be called for the foul, and that's his 4th. And there's another foul in this fourth quarter.
I didn't really see a foul there, honestly. I thought he was just going up for the ball. Maybe he just clipped his wrist, but I didn't really see that. As Bramlett, he's going to check back in for Heron as, like what you said, 4 fouls. You don't want him to foul out early in this fourth quarter.
Here is going to be ball inbounded to Walsh. Back up top to Roman. Ball in the corner, down low to Saganga, and you can't foul. That's bad defense again.
Nope.
The 6'6" senior getting down low and being a menace right now.
It's 2 early fouls there in this fourth quarter for Luke Robinson. That's 3 team fouls committed within this first minute of the fourth quarter for the Rams. That is not good. And Saganga, who's been great from the line all night, let's see if he can stay on fire here, as he does.
Saganga hits the first one. Makes it a 40-36 game right now. The Tigers up by 4, and 7:04 remaining in the third quarter, or fourth quarter. Shot. That one is second free throw hit by Saganga. Goes 2 for 2 at the strike. I believe that's his third time going 2 for 2. Butter.
It's huge. When you're 6'6", it's hard to play normal defense. You're gonna have to foul eventually.
Bramwood up top, guarded by Roman. Bramwood over to Robinson. Walsh thought that he got all ball. He's going to be called for the reach-in.
Here comes Ofiero, who's going to check back in here from New Canaan. He hit that clutch 3 in the corner that got them back into the game and the momentum back to end that third quarter. Let's see if he can make a play here.
You see Melzer drawing up a play. Ofiero's going to be open in the corner. You're going to try to get that ball, but that goes to Robinson inside, and he puts it up and in. 38-41, cuts the lead 2-3.
Looks like the coaches wanted a push from the back to get an and one possibility there. They didn't get it, but Robinson is still able to get the layup and cut the lead down to 3.
Yeah, and I don't like this mismatch down low. Chandra on Saganga. Great defensive rebounding, though, by the Rams. Bramwood up to Chandra, who throws it away.
Critical mistake there by Chandra. I mean, Ofiero's right next to you. You're going to bounce pass it to him? I don't know about that.
It's a one-possession game. A little bit of a mental miscue there from Chandra. Esposito going to check out for Michaels. My apologies. Melzer's going to call the timeout. I believe we'll see Michael Smith come into the game after this timeout. That's a timeout by New Canaan. And what are you telling your team if you're Coach Melzer right now, Ethan?
And honestly, if you're Melzer, I'm telling your team that you're still in this game, right? You've cut the lead down to start this fourth quarter. You've been doing a great job. You found the open man to get those layups. And you've had these open opportunities to make it within these first 2 minutes. I think you got to stay consistent, move the ball around, and knock down those open shots. But also, I think he's going to tell them that you cannot commit any more fouls. You've committed 3 within the first 2 minutes of this fourth quarter. And if you commit 2 more, they're going to get to the charity stripe like you talked about.
Yeah, those 3 fouls are definitely going to hurt you. Obviously, you never want to commit fouls early on in the half or early on in the quarter, because those fouls end up hurting you on that back half of the game. But they already got 3, so you can't do anything to stop that. But there are going to be times where you need to foul, of course.
Exactly. And I think Melzer, just outside of the game, I think they've got a chip on their shoulder, right? They are 1-9 against teams that are over 500, like we talked about, and Ridgefield is 10-1 against teams that are, 8-0 against teams that are below 500. New Canaan knows that they've got a chip on their shoulder, and on paper, it looked like that they were going to get blown out, but they are staying in this game, and they want to pull off an upset here and possibly ruin Ridgefield's chances of being the 1 seed in the FCAC this year.
And here is Nicholas Roman carrying the ball up, guarded by Michael Smith. Robinson going to guard Walsh. New Canaan's defense got to be quick on your feet. He's reaching for the wide open shot. Great rebounding again, though. Offensive rebounding back to the corner. Walsh working it around, goes up and takes it upon himself to put it up and in. And that's something we haven't really seen much of tonight so far, as Walsh being aggressive and getting to the cup, as Robinson puts up the floater from the corner and he misses it.
Going back to that Walsh layup, too, he was able to avoid Michael Smith. He was trying to draw the charge there. Instead, he was able to contort his body away from the basket and just lay it up and in. Great play there.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit confused on why Ridgefield just hasn't gone to Walsh time and time again. You know, using his skills. He's one of the top players in the FCAC. I know he was nominated for Rudin Report Player of the Week earlier this year, if that's an indicator. He's been hot for this team all season. He hasn't really been aggressive getting to the cup. He's kind of thrown the ball around a couple of times where he shouldn't, trying to make that extra pass. Great post moves that time by Hickey. Puts it up and in, and if you're New Canaan, that's a defensive failure.
Hickey was just surrounded by 3 New Canaan defenders, and somehow he was able to spin out of it and just float it up and in.
Here's Esposito. Ball's going to be turned over this time by the Rams, 38-45, 5:10 remaining in this fourth quarter. Ridgefield's got possession.
And Melzer is going to play a risky game here. They're going to put Heron, who has 4 fouls.
Yeah, and I believe it's 5 when you foul out in high school. It might be 6. It's 5 or 6. We'd have to check. If you know, then you know better than us, but Fletch playing the risky game, already has 4 fouls, and Ridgefield's been attacking him down low.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of Teddy Whitaker. I mean, we haven't really seen him in the third quarter or this fourth quarter at all.
There is Fletch playing great defense, but another rebound. This time by Volmicki. Gets it over to Saganga, and he puts it up and in.
Robinson was waiting for that ball to fall. Instead, it was just taken out of the air by Ridgefield, and instead it's just going to lead to another 2 points. The lead is back up to 9 for the Tigers.
Brimwood up top over to Fletch, working on Saganga, and a little bit of an interesting pass. Gets it to Chakarov, and he puts it in. Makes it a 7-point game.
Good play there by Chakarov, staying poised, able to capitalize on that fadeaway.
Here is Walsh, spin move on Akavaru, puts it up. That one close to being out of bounds. That one way off. Here's Robinson.
Control the floor here. You don't want to move it up too fast, but you want to keep the Tigers on their toes as Bramwett just turns it over again. Bad
pass there by Bramwett. Turns it over. Fletch not entirely in it, and Walsh attacks, getting to the cup again. Puts it up and in. 9-point lead for the Tigers.
Walsh is so shifty. We've seen it all night. It's there. He gets a Euro step. Extends the lead back up to 9 here.
And again, it goes back to attacking, not settling for assists and trying to get points, knowing you're one of the best players on the court, and Walsh is going to be checked out.
Here comes New Canaan's, in my opinion, New Canaan's player of the game, Andrew Esposito, checks back in, 4 minutes to go. He knows what he's got to do to get the Rams back into this game. Only as a sophomore. He's been one of the biggest leaders besides the senior captains. See what he can do here.
Chakarov inbounds it to Bramlett, back to Fletch. Fletch almost with the travel. Akavaru in the corner. And they're going to call that.
Blocking foul there on Hickey.
Blocking foul on Hickey. That's 2 for the Tigers in this fourth quarter. And that's Hickey's 5th. So you got to assume he might be checked out after that one for a little bit of time.
You have a 30-second timeout here as we take a look at this replay. See Akavaru try and drive in. Hickey didn't get his feet set. Instead, it's just going to be Akavaru drawing the foul there, pushing them up to 2 team fouls on the quarter. Actually, make it 3.
Hickey, we'll see if he stays in the game. And he's going to be checked out. Walsh coming back into the game, and he's your X factor right now. He's heating up at the right time for the Tigers. And he's just got to keep getting to the cup.
Walsh and Esposito, the lowerclassmen and the upperclassmen, showing out tonight, 40-49 on the last regular season game before they head into FCX. But for the Rams, Justin Estates.
3 by Fletch. Gets that 1-2 fall. Bow and arrow there. A release by Fletch. One of the few 3-pointers on the night for the Rams, but makes it a 6-point lead for the Tigers. Clawing back into this game, 43-49.
I mentioned it earlier in the game how Heron, during warm-ups, he was knocking down those threes, mid-ranges, and layups. As there, he throws in a clutch 3 to cut the lead down to 6 with 3:36 to go.
New Canaan down by 6, 3:36. And there was the replay of Fletcher Heron's 3. And in the timeout, Melzer's got to be telling his boys to stay poised. You know, it's a 2 or 3 possession game, right? You're not at the point where you need to foul. You still got time, tons of time left, 3:36. You need a couple defensive stops and maybe a couple easy buckets on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm always a huge advocator for taking 2s instead of 3s, right? You don't need to force the 3-pointers if they're not there. You haven't shown that you can hit those all night. So if you get the 2, you're going to take the 2, right? You're not going to stress for the 3 like you see in the NBA nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to force the ball, right? You don't want to force it if it's not there. However, if you think you can draw a foul, drive in, and lean your body into to just get the whistle blown for you, do that. But obviously, we've seen throughout the game how the refs haven't been as generous with the calls as both teams wanted them to be. But let's see what the Rams do here, as I think for the Tigers, I think they're going to play more of a passive fourth quarter here. They have a 6-point lead. They're going to want to slow the ball down, get to the line, and maybe get New Canaan to the line as they've been struggling all night.
Yeah, and if you're Ridgefield, you got to think that the ball's going to Walsh. Roman's taking it up. It goes right to Walsh. Takes it over to Savaktovich. Back to Saganga. Back to Roman. Roman's their #1 point guard. He's been the point guard all year. Back down low to Saganga, guarded by Chakarov to Walsh. Ball up top, Ridgefield throwing it around the world. And they're gonna say that's a defensive foul.
I think it's gonna be on Bramwith there on the floor. It's gonna be their 4th team foul of the quarter. Still 3:12 to go here. That was a big foul here as we take a look at this replay.
Yeah, now you don't have a foul to give, but there's the replay of the foul. 43-49. New Canaan 1 foul away from putting Ridgefield in the bonus. Ball up top to Roman. Back to Walsh. Walsh guarded by Esposito. Chakarov guarding Svaktovich. And I'd let Svaktovich shoot, honestly. He hasn't hit a three-pointer all night, and he's been cold.
I mean, you could tell that they're just staring at that shot clock, waiting for it to wind down so they can give New Canaan as least time as possible.
And Walsh gets the offensive rebound. Shot clock resets to 15. But they go right at New Canaan. That's going to be Roman drawing the foul and 2 shots at the line.
It's a great play by Roman. Not only does he get to the line, he gets Ridgefield into the bonus now. 2:47 to go. There is a lot of time here. And now I think Ridgefield is going to think to themselves that they're just going to try and lean in and get some calls to get to the line without having to even put the ball up.
Yeah, Ridgefield's going to try to draw contact, but they're also just going to throw the ball away and use that shot clock, right? Wind off seconds from the clock. Roman with the first one and a rare miss as he missed the first one.
Chakarov is going to sub out here for Luke Robinson. Obviously, Melzer and Tisha have been using Robinson as more of an offensive weapon, as he's hit a couple threes and some floaters throughout this game. Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, Ridgefield playing with 2 guys back on that free throw, trying to prevent New Canaan from throwing it down the court. Bramwith up top, working. Gets a screen from Fletch. Fletch with the backdoor cut. Can't find anything, so they kick out back to Bramwith, and he hits.
Back-to-back threes here for the Rams. They are heating up. Only a 4-point game. Great play by the senior captains, Fletcher, Heron, and Griffin Bramwith to set up a 3.
Bramwith with the 3. Here's Walsh up top. Over to Volmicki. Back to Roman. Roman guarded by Robinson now. And this is going to be Walsh guarded by Bramwith. They're going to switch. Back up to Walsh, this time guarded by Fletch. And keep in mind, Saganga's not into the game right now. Roman with a wide open 3, and he's going to hit. Counters right back with the 3 of his own there. You can't leave him wide open, as the Rams did there.
Back-to-back big plays there by Roman. First, he got to the line for 2, and then he hits a big 3 there. What a play.
Brema kicks it to Esposito, working on Walsh. Walsh giving him a little bit of space. Esposito drawing the foul. That's going to be a blocking foul. This one on Walsh.
At this point for the Rams, you just want anything that you can get there, as Esposito is going to get to the line. Although you haven't been hitting those free throws as often as you want it to be, you're going to get to the line here.
7-point deficit right now, so you need some quick buckets. New Canaan not in the bonus yet, as Richard's got 4 team fouls. Chakarov's going to check in for Chandra.
My fault. It looked like he was in shooting motion here as we take a look at this replay. Yeah, I thought he got bumped while he was in shooting form.
They're going to call it a floor foul there. That's going to keep New Canaan from going to the line. But again, quick buckets, right?
Now you're going to rush now. You only have 90 seconds to go. You got to go. 3-possession game as Robinson heaves it. It's going to be blocked.
Robinson trying to get to his spot. Rebound by Fletch. That's going to be the 15th foul on Ridgefield, putting Fletch at the line for 2 if he can hit. Benjamin Volmicki with the foul there.
Good play there by Heron, not giving up on the play and giving the Rams another opportunity, and this time he's going to go to the line for 2.
Going to go to the line for 2. New Canaan, not a good free throw shooting team as he misses the first one, and that's going to hurt. Now it's a 7-point game. Could have been a 6-point game, but now it's 7.
And here we go, the Rams making their defensive adjustments now. They're going to put in their defensive players like we've talked about. They're going to put in Russi, Akavaramu, and now Michael Smith for Bramwith, Robinson, and Chakarov.
Fletch at the line for the second, and he hits. Missed the first, hit the second. 6-point game, 47-53. 1:19 remaining in this fourth quarter.
2 threes is all you need here for the Rams. You got plenty of time. You just got to get 2 defensive stops.
You need the defensive stops.
There it
They
is.
Get one. Robinson takes it over to Esposito. You can tell they're looking for the 3. Russi can't take a stupid shot over to Esposito. Guarded by Walsh. Takes it to Akavaramu. No spacing. Down low to Michael Smith. Over to Russi, and that one's stolen by the Ridgefield defense. Here's Roman, gonna try to pass it inside. Michael Smith thought about touching it, decided not to. Was a good decision there. New Canaan gaining possession.
Roman not happy with himself here, as the Rams are gonna get a chance to put in their offensive weapons here, Ofiero, Chandra, and Bramwitt. Obviously, that's gonna be huge here, as if they hit a 3, it's gonna be 1 possession game, and they'll get the last shot if they go quick. 44.8 to go, down by 6.
Fletch to Bramwitt. Bramwitt working on Roman. And they're going to have to get a shot quick, right? That shot clock is 35 seconds. And you're already at that point, so you're going to have to foul. Bramwitt in the corner, decides to heave it up. That one's off.
And now the Rams are going to have to foul here, as the Tigers have been so good from that charity stripe like you've talked about. The percentage from both sides are almost polar opposites here, as the Tigers are going to sit comfortably with a 6-point lead and 28 to go.
28 seconds to go, as you mentioned. Myself, John Friedrich, joined alongside Ethan Bonner. And this game was close, still is close, right? For Ridgefield at the line. It's going to be Walsh at the line after a Bramwitt missed 3 that would have brought the deficit to 3 points.
And Walsh has been outstanding for the Tigers today. I mean, we talked about how good of a player that Nicholas Saganga was. But Walsh has really stepped up today and has pushed the Tigers to the 7-point lead that they're at right now, between his movement, his defensive plays, his Euro steps, now his free throw clutchness. He's been doing it all for the Tigers.
Shot there, missed by Walsh.
And that is a huge offensive rebound there by the Tigers. It takes 3 seconds off, and they're going to get back to the line for another 2. That has got to hurt.
Yeah, Ridgefield's just won that offensive rebounding battle. New Canaan not rebounding like they normally do tonight. And that's going to send Volmicki to the line.
I mean, the Tigers have 10 players that are over 6 foot. I don't really know how many other FCIAC or teams in Connecticut that have that amount of players that are that tall. And it has really come into effect this game.
Volmicki hits the first one. Fletch and Bramwitt get a standing and clapping ovation as they come off the court. Brea comes in, and I think this should just about seal it. Not to call it a little bit early, but Volmicki at the line for his second, and he hits.
I mean, you can see the lineup they have out there. I think the Rams are just, I think the Rams are giving up a little bit here. What do you think? What, like, 9-point game, right? For the Rams, they're 8-11, and the Tigers are going to move to 19-1. It's not a blowout like the paper was showing us, but what have you seen from the Rams today that they've done just well at?
Well, Ofiero took the shot there, the 3, airballed it, but I don't even think this, although on paper it is a 9-point game, it was a much closer game throughout most of it. New Canaan just couldn't convert when they needed to. They lost the offensive rebounding battle. And just Ridgefield coming in, using that height advantage as well as the length advantage to come out of this one with a victory. When you're going up against a top team in the FCIAC, you have to hit your free throws and you have to rebound, both of which New Canaan struggled with tonight. And that's going to drop them to 8-12, right? And bring Ridgefield to a record of 19-1. They're going to clinch the #1 seed in the FCIAC tournament. Of course, New Canaan won't be attending the FCIAC tournament, but they do have states to look forward to. And Melzer talked about just the mindset right now is just to get better, 1% better every single day, to build up to that state run, which they hopefully can make a run in. But you lose to another FCIAC opponent, that drops you to 4-11 against the FCIAC. And you can't do that if you're going to expect to even be close to 500. So they go 4-11 this season in the FCIAC, and a bunch of close losses. And this one, just another one, lose 47-56. Ethan, do you have any final thoughts?
I think this was a good game for the Rams. I think playing a team that is 19-1 on the season, heading into championship season, and you're only losing by 9, especially when you're 4-11, like we talked about in the FCIAC this season, I think it was a great game for the Rams. Even though they lost by 9, I think this shows a lot of positive attributes, especially for a lot of the players that stepped up tonight, like you talked about, Andrew Esposito, Luke Robinson, Tyler Ofiero, who's finally back off injury. I think this was a good game for the Rams as they look to states where they look to make another glorious run.
Yeah, you talk about it. They're looking for 2 states. On the other side, Ridgefield's going to have the #1 seed in the FCAC, the #1 seed in the states, and they're going to have an advantage, although I don't believe it's a home court advantage. You mentioned they're still going to dominate, and they're going to have an opportunity to get back on the winning title in the FCAC, to win another FCAC title, and maybe even a state title, and definitely going to be in consideration for the best team in Connecticut. So we mentioned that. Now, thank you for joining us. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Ethan Bonner. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday night action to the close of the regular season. Thank you.
Support the NCHS Scholarship